Hi, friends. This is Dr. Arpita Gupta Dipalma, and you're listening to my podcast, From Pissed Off to Poised. This show is for busy women physicians and professionals just like you who are ready to take control of their emotions while learning how to excel in juggling all the things they are responsible for in life. It's for overextended mamas who are trying to figure out how to work smarter, not harder. It's for multitasking women who are tired of playing the role of the angry and resentful air traffic controller, who simply want to learn how to create a life that is more calm, intentional, and joyful for themselves. My goal is to help you learn how to eliminate the overwhelm and maintain your composure in high-stress situations that you face with the demands in your day-to-day life. Because I get you guys, this was totally me. You are not alone. I invite you to embark on your journey of transformation with me. Enjoy the listen. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of From Pissed Off to Poised. Today we're going to talk about the ultimate to-do list brain dump. And this episode is really kind of crucial because we're diving into a foundational step in mastering your time management or your time optimizations. This brain dump concept was really enlightening for me when I realized, like I said, I kind of am pretty good about my weekly calendaring, but what I wasn't recognizing was all the other to-dos, these little things that would come up that I felt like I would just file away in my brain and then would have to keep track of because I needed to somehow get them done at some point in time, but I didn't realize that it was taking up so much space. So the brain dump is where we start to pull out and put on a piece of paper all of those things that are swirling in our brain, those thoughts, the ideas, the to-do lists, the responsibilities. We're getting all of that out of our head and putting them down on paper so we can start to manage them effectively. So before we really get into it, I want to remind you why we started this process with the worksheets on the 25 things that you want and your top 3 priorities. Those 2 worksheets are crucial because it sets the stage for everything we're going to do now. They help you kind of start to organize your brain, in a sense, for all the things. Because if we don't really know what matters to us most, our to-do list can become very quickly a super huge, overwhelming pile of busy work. And it becomes so dreadful. It becomes daunting almost. And that's what keeps us kind of stuck, that we feel like we don't even want to start because there's so much shit there that we have to get to. So these 2 worksheets I like to go through with my people because it helps you start to develop a strategic plan. So how does it do this? Let's start with the 25 things that you want worksheet. This worksheet can be used for the big picture in your whole life for all the items that you have in your brain. And it really allows you to focus on what really matters to you in your life. Most of my clients who do this exercise find that they get stuck around number 10, 11, maybe when they're writing out the things that they want in their life. And that's because oftentimes they're thinking about the tangible things or the material things or goals that they have set out for themselves to achieve or to acquire. So once they get stuck, I actually encourage them to expand on the things that they are wanting that might not be so tangible. For me, for example, one of my things was I wanted my kids to want to come home and spend time with us, even when they didn't have to. I wanted to have a good relationship with my husband. I wanted to have open communication and create authentic friendships with smaller circles of women. So what happens when we really start diving in deep is we start to recognize the things that we want in our lives. And most of the time, when we really start to do this, the list starts to evolve and we realize it becomes more filled with things that money can't buy. And that's what the goal is of doing the exercise, because it helps you start to see that most things that we all want in life, we either already have them or they don't really cost us any money. They don't cost us anything, maybe just our time. The next worksheet that I want you to look at is that top 3 priorities list. So once you've figured out what you want in your life, you've done that 25 wants sheet, I want you to look at that list and maybe try to pick the top 3 most important things to you that you want to tackle, achieve, or accomplish. Okay, what is most important to you on that list? And they can be material items or they can be the intangibles. You get to pick from that list what you want to focus on and work on first. So after doing those sheets, I am going to offer that I believe you're going to have more clarity on what's most important to you so that you can start to really focus and move forward with intention on those items rather than just kind of reacting and putting out your fires on a regular basis throughout your day, just kind of being that hamster on that hamster wheel. We don't really want to do that, but so many times we feel stuck in that mode that we can't even jump off. So this is going to give you the opportunity to do just that. We're going to jump off that hamster wheel. All right, so now we're going to get into some of the nitty-gritty of the next steps. So this is where you might want to grab a notebook or a pen so you can get kind of started and focus on what you want to do next. So feel free to take some notes, and this is going to be kind of your homework and the projects that I want you to focus on over the next couple of days. All right, so step one, I want you to create a focused space for your brain dump. I want you to find a quiet space. Get your favorite notebook, get your favorite gel pens, whatever floats your boat. Before you start listing out everything you need to do, you're basically setting yourself up for success by turning off all the distractions when you find this space and you get cozy and maybe you have a hot cup of tea with you in your blanket. So you're going to silence your phone. You're going to shut off the notifications. You're going to dedicate a specific amount of time to your Thursday timeout hour. And it might not be on Thursdays for you, so you can call TTO your time to organize hour. Okay, whatever you want to name it, that's on you. I call it Thursday timeout because I always do it on Thursday evenings. You're creating this focused space and time that ensures that you're going to give your full attention to your planning without any interruptions pulling you away. Most of us have a really hard time doing this because we believe we always have to be available and ready for anyone and everyone who may need us at the drop of a hat. But when we do this, we are prioritizing everybody else's needs over our own. Part of the work in doing this time management, this time optimization, is beginning to recognize that when you can make a commitment to yourself and honor it, you're actually creating a life where you will have more time to give to other people, helping other people, doing things for other people, whatever it is. So I want you to gift yourself an hour with 0 interruptions. Nobody is on fire right now. And honestly, if they are, somebody's going to find you. Okay, step 2, we're going to dump everything onto paper. It is time for the actual brain dump, the catharsis, the vomiting of all the things that are taking up space and energy in your brain as you struggle to remember it all. All right, think about it, guys. This is why we wake up at 3 a.m. with our to-do list and all the, oh shit, I forgot to do this. And oh my God, I got to remember to do this. We're afraid that we're going to forget that very important, and I will offer often unimportant task of maybe booking the dog sitter or grabbing the snack that our kiddo wanted in their lunchbox for the next day. If we don't get up right then and make a note right in that moment about it. All right. This is the shit that wakes us up. This process of actually dumping everything out is going to allow you to stick to the tasks that are in your calendar as they come up for you. And you're going to also simultaneously, hopefully, start to recognize that we can let go of a little bit of the control, a little bit of the perfectionism, because that also is what's driving us to wake up at 3 a.m. with the stupid to-dos. A lot of times we're worried that if we don't write it down right in that moment, that it's going to float off into la la land. Or when we're doing busy things like saving other people's lives, when our brain offers us the, oh shit, you got to do this, don't forget. This is what keeps us from being able to rest peacefully at night because we've already noticed we forgot it once and then it comes to us in the middle of the night. So if we can get to a place where we can start to log the items that come to us, even when we're occupied in a way in our phones and the calendars right then, it avoids us from having this energy suck at a later time. So what I want you to first do is grab a piece of paper and start writing down everything that comes to your mind about the things that you need to do. And I'm talking about everything. So think about the tasks that you need to complete in the upcoming weeks. Are there small projects? Are there big projects? Are there trips coming up? Are there activities for the kids? All the tasks that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. I want you to think about the projects that you're working on, both at home and at work, and all of the tiny details that are involved in getting those projects completed. I want you to think about your errands, your appointments, and any other commitments that you have made to other people. I want you to think about the lingering to-dos from the previous weeks or months that haven't gotten done yet, like cleaning out the garage, or organizing the Christmas decorations, or booking the next family vacation. I am talking about everything here. You're literally taking an inventory of all the things your brain has been trying to hold on to and keep track of so that you no longer have to waste all your energy in doing so. I don't want you to filter yourself. I want you to just let it all pour out, even if it feels like it's not something that warrants a spot on your calendar. Just dump it all out on this piece of paper. The more comprehensive your list is, the better. It's not about prioritizing anything yet. It's simply about getting all that shit out of your brain. Step 3, this one's going to be tough, but I want you to identify what things you want to do versus what things you feel like you have to do. So once we've gotten this dump out on a piece of paper, I want you to go through each item and ask yourself, do I actually want to do this? And if the answer is not a hell yes, out of a scale of 0 to 10, it's an 8 plus or higher that I want to do it, I want you to ask yourself, why are you doing it? Is it something that truly needs to get done? Or is it an unnecessary obligation? Are you avoiding doing it because you're procrastinating? Or is it something that can really be delegated to somebody else or even eliminated altogether? This is where we really have to be honest with ourselves. Sometimes we fill our lists with things that don't actually align with our priorities, but we feel like we have to do it out of obligation. I like to say that you can't be the visionary and the worker bee. So I want you to take a look at this list and decide what things you truly have to do because no one else can do it. i.e., you might have to go back and listen to the last episode number 25, on how to let go of control, like starting to not give an F about things in your life so you can let things go. So going back, I want you to decide what things you truly have to do because no one else can do it versus what things you can give to someone else to do as bartering with them or maybe paying them as an outsourced job versus, again, what things you can just totally let go of and bag completely. Your job is to determine what must be done versus what can be let go of. In a nutshell, can you better it if it's something that you need to do or want to do? Can you barter it, i.e., let someone else shine on a task that is in their zone of genius, even if you have to pay them? Or can you bag it because it really is not necessary and doesn't need to get done, but it's just kind of on that list, maybe because of that perfectionism? As I've gotten older, I'm becoming more and more cognizant of the fact that time is my most precious asset. So I'm less likely to do shit I can afford to let others do because it's keeping me from being in my own zone of genius where I can produce things that nobody else can. When I give people tasks to do and pay them to do so, I'm letting them shine by giving them tasks that are in their zone of genius, thereby affording myself more time in my zone of genius. I'm essentially paying it forward. I'm supporting other people with what they can do. All right, next, of the things that you want to do or need to do as the visionary, I want you to pick your top 3, like top 3 priorities, top 3 goals from that worksheet, okay? And I want you to start putting as many of the items from your dump that fit under one of these top 3 priorities or headers. And if it doesn't fit under one of those top 3 things, something on your dump list does not fit, I want you to create a separate sheet of paper that says later and put all those items there. This is how we're going to start to chunk the to-dos in a way that is not so overwhelming. And it's going to be more strategic so that it begins to feel more manageable and makes sense to you. All right. Step 4, we're going to give ourselves permission to space this shit out. When you look at your top 3 priorities, I want you to first ask yourself, can any of these actually be done simultaneously? So, for example, some of my top wants, I can work on building connections with new friends while I'm also creating new talks on topics that I know women want to learn about. I can also organize my house bit by bit at the same time because it's a completely different time and it's a different kind of arena that I want to focus on. So I want you to see if any of your top 3 priorities can actually overlap so you're tackling more than one goal or priority at once. Now, that being said, this list that we've created can also become a trap, i.e., looking at your list and you suddenly feel completely overwhelmed or like, how the hell am I going to get through this shit? And guess what? This is where we get to give ourselves permission that not everything has to be done this week. Notice who's creating the urgency in your life to get it all done. Notice why that overwhelm begins to start kicking in. Contrarily, notice when you tell yourself that you can actually spread all these tasks out over the next week, month, year. You get to decide. That is, if they don't have hard deadlines, of course. But when you give yourself permission to spread this shit out, those feelings of overwhelm, dread, and panic start to dissipate a little. So take a breath and remind yourself that you can spread these tasks out over the next month or a few months or a year. You get to decide. The goal isn't to do everything at one time. It's to create a plan that makes sense and feels manageable while also letting go of the need to keep it all up in your brain. Just because it's written down doesn't mean it has to happen immediately. You're in the driver's seat now. You get to decide where you're going to put these items in your calendar and how much time you need and when you're going to get to it. All right, step 5, reflect and add anything you forgot. So after you do this initial brain dump, I want you to take a little bit of a break, like maybe go for a walk, go play with the kids, go do some other tasks. And then when you get a chance, I want you to come back to your list and give yourself a few more quiet minutes to think. Oftentimes, once you step away and then come back, some other tasks or ideas might pop into your mind. This is when I want you to capture them as well so they don't resurface at some of those other inconvenient times, like when you're sewing up an abdomen. This is an ongoing process, and the more consistently we can start doing this, the clearer and more intentional your weeks and days become. So I want you to now just start thinking about how you want to put the items from your brain dump into your calendar. You don't have to do it yet. And if you're ready to do it, you can go for it. And we'll start talking about some of those more details in the weeks to come. But I want you to look at this list, pick your top 3 priorities, and start spreading that shit out in the calendar. Putting it on slots where they seem realistic, where you're taking into account travel time, you're taking into account interruptions from kids, you're taking into account all the things, again, like we're going to talk about, so that you're putting it in your calendar in a way that's doable and likely to actually happen. If you give yourself a set amount of time to work on a task, make sure it's realistic, especially if it's a big one. i.e., for cleaning out the garage for me, we did this one summer. What I started doing is thinking about how much total time is it going to take? And honestly, for the garage, I had no freaking idea. So we decided we were going to block an hour every Saturday or Sunday morning, 1 hour a weekend, and we were going to just start tackling it from one corner to the next. But the thing was, because I gave myself an hour max, my brain saw that there was a foreseeable endpoint. So I wasn't consumed by the belief that my entire weekend was going to get ruined by completing this horrendous task. So it was much more realistic and feasible for me. I could do it. I could say, all right, I'm going to work on it for an hour and that's it. Whatever we get done in the hour, that's it. And I know the following weekend we'll tackle it again for another hour. When you do this, you give yourself permission to just only work on it for a set amount of time, and you end up knocking it out faster than you would ever do it as you sit there in dread, worrying about how big the project is in the first place. This is how you get started. Okay, if you're not quite ready to put the things in the calendar, that's okay. Next week, we're going to talk about that in a lot more detail. But what I want to start thinking about are how you want to set the tone for yourself here. I want you to be proud of yourself for taking the time to just start by creating this brain dump. It's a game changer because now instead of carrying all this crap in your mind and feeling scattered or overwhelmed or depleted of the energy, you have a tangible and organized list that you can begin to work from and that you can begin to tackle. So next week, we're going to take this list, we're going to prioritize it, categorize it, and actually start scheduling tasks into your calendar so they fit seamlessly into your week, months, and years. For now, I just want you to take a deep breath and appreciate the fact that you've taken the first major step towards time mastery. So if you found this helpful, I would love for you to share it with a friend who needs a little bit more organization in their life, or maybe just a little bit more structure. And as always, I'd love to hear from you guys. So please reach out to me if you have any questions or insights or wondering how I do things. I love hearing from you and I love responding. So until next time, stay focused, take control, and you have got this. All right, we will see you then. Bye. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of From Pissed Off to Poised. Remember, transformation is a journey, not a destination. So enjoy the ride. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review From Pissed Off to Poised on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback supports my mission to get this podcast out to help other women physicians and professionals like you on their path to creating a more peaceful life with more intention and more joy. I enjoy reading every message I get with your input and feedback on my journey, so keep them coming. And if you have a friend who might enjoy the listen, please share this episode and show with them. Lastly, if you want to learn more about my coaching programs and course offerings, check out my website at www.thoughtworkmd.com. Feel free to reach out to me to learn more about investing in yourself through one-to-one coaching so you can start living the life you've always wanted. This show is for general educational and entertainment purposes only. Life coaching is not a substitute for therapy or medical treatment.